Okay, I'm not going to take you guys through the company layout. That's going to be at the end. I want to start off with how NCPC helped us out. For me, the biggest thing was, okay, Excellent Meat is one of only 2 retail packers for the Woolworths brand in the whole of South Africa. The other packer is Cavalier. So your chops, your sausage, your burgers, your mince, your frikadelles, your picanhas, your steaks from ribeye to sirloin to rump, your leg of lambs, that's us. Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and Namibia. So for us, cleaning is very important, and we need a lot of water. And so yeah, that's just to put you in a nutshell of where Excellent Meat is actually fitting into the food chain. So for us, it was a 3-pronged approach. Firstly, internal awareness, water-saving campaigns. So that's why you saw the little water campaign in front, the emblem, the logo. We had it everywhere in our factories, our butcheries, toilets, kitchens, everywhere. So everybody knew, listen here, save water, which was very, very effective because a lot of people started really becoming proactive. I mean, we're dealing with factory workers. Most of them got standard 10, grade 12. So it was good to get them to that point of understanding the relevance of it. And every Friday, most of the directors of the factories had saunas. You know, State of the Nation's address, we had saunas about water every Friday. Guys, we were watching water, what's going on here, you know. Compliance was very important. We needed to get water exemption certificates. Now, guys, it's not just about saving water, it's about understanding the legalities of what's out there to make sure we're legal when we're using a lot of water. So we had to apply for water exemption certificates. We had to know what was the requirement. That basically means that if you want to use more than the required amount of water set as per the limitation in the bylaw, you need to apply for an exemption, which we did across all our factories. We've got about 5 factories. Then the WULAS and the WSI. WULAS is the license from the National DWS, Department of Water Sanitation Department, to allow you to use the RO plant that my colleague previously was talking about. We actually designed the RO plant. Then the WSI is a secondary license that the local government, City of Cape Town, wants for you to run your RO plant. So you got a license for national and local. Infrastructure development and investment. I'll tell you the numbers later. We had to invest in a WMS. What does that mean, Kevin? Water management system. It's a live wire, because Kevin, when he came to visit us, he was talking about, wow, this amazing tool to track your water, blah, blah, blah. It was the best tool ever that we designed. The best tool ever that we used and implemented. Dual hoses. So what that basically means, we used to clean our facility with just one hose where you have a single running of water. Now, because you're using dual hose, you're mixing it with soap and water. Your water usage goes from 10 liters to it reduces by 10 liters per minute. And aerators, oh, it's lovely stuff. You just put your hand under the tap and it sprays out. That's all you need. And then alternative water source, RO plant. Then the value adding. Now you ask yourself now, why must we use RECP? Why must we use NCPC? Number 1, set of Cape Town tariffs. Number 2, Woolworths GBJ rating. Now, Woolworths GBJ rating is like gold, silver, and green. So they are pushing the buck. So if you worry that government and industry is not doing really anything, they are, because they are pushing us, suppliers that supplying woolies, to be good business partners. And in there's about 16 categories they evaluate you on, 123 points, and 3 of those points is water, waste, and energy. We got 14 out of 15 for water on that rating. And we are silver. So that is where a company like, many of you know England, Marks and Spencer, a Woolworths is a Marks and Spencer. If they can push your supplier, we're talking about Elgin chicken, Elgin juice, Parmalat juice, we're talking about Excellent Meat Cavalier. If they tell your supplier, listen here, get along on this GBJ journey and we want you to get silver, they pushing your initiative on making sure that you're a better economy in terms of green. Then the other point is, because we have the partnership with NCPC and Green Cape, we were able to apply for a tariff rate reduction. So you needed to be APSs, which is agro-processing industry. You needed to show that you had a 40% reduction in water. And what's the other one? Your company had to be under distress. Okay? We got that tariff reduction. And I'll show you the numbers what we got for. So in a nutshell, guys, you know what? I don't know anything about the water. I did biology in matric. I realized I don't want to be a scientist because I was aliens. And I thought aliens always survive. The scientists always survive, so I want to be a scientist. But then real life kicked in. I said, yeah, listen, you need to go into the other side where there's some money. But I needed NCPC to help me to understand that paradigm because I knew nothing about it. But I could understand the relativity because for me, what drove me was we employ about 900 people. And Western Cape is a very tough place because there's a lot of violence and we're in a derelict area where I grew up in. So that was drives me to be better in the business to save money. Our challenges, convincing my bosses, listen, you guys, invest money in installing meters. They did it last time, invest in a power store, but because they didn't have the intellect to understand the usage and the monitoring tool, they don't believe in doing the water meters. Getting buy-in from my managers at EMP, excellent packers, it's a production facility, setting water consumption targets that were realistic using municipal meter data. They're just worried about tonnage. We do about 120 tons a week. If we don't meet the 90% tonnage, Uber says loss of profits. Then we have to pay Woolies back. So if we don't get 99%, we're down. So they're worried about that, not about setting benchmarks. Who cares about benchmarks? Reducing the amount of water that was being used during after-hours cleaning during the listeriosis outbreak. A lot of you guys heard companies close down, like Enterprise due to listeriosis. We never closed down because we kept the paradigm and the respect for the business. And with Woolies, walking the path. Becoming self-sufficient with regards to water supply is a lot more difficult for a food processing facility than it is for a general facility due to the stringent water quality requirements by both government and clients, and finding the correct water meters that operated on our EMS dashboard. So we had quite a bit of challenges. So this is just a graph showing you what was the water, kiloliters and cost. Now don't look in isolation and just saying 140. These are basically 2 meters that we're using. To that you must still add your sewage is 95%. So when I got my bosses to really jump up and run around and run for the hills was in April and March. We literally were paying R250,000 in those 2 months. So at that point, it was day zero for us. And from there on, we implemented then, going forward, the discussion about the water meters. Now you can see clearly there, 2.8. That's a lot of water, eh? It's a lot of water that was being used by our facility, but we had to do it because we a meat processing plant, and if we're not sure we're using enough water, then you guys are going to have algae, whatever, in your food. So this was a realistic scare for us, and it hit us in our income statement, and that was at the point when the company was in distress, just one of the entities. So that set in motion my application for the water tariff, because the requirement was you had to show your company was in distress. Then this is basically the EMP water cost per month for both meters. So there again, it got really bad the latter part of January, February, and March in the organization. So from that, we went on and we implemented the smart meters. Now, you think smart meters are going to change the world and make things better, but we had another problem. We could only track 30% of the water being used. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm going to my boss, we're only tracking 30%. Randall, I wouldn't have paid so much money for that. I would have just left it alone. And I thought, how the hell are we going to find this problem? Then the guy came along and said, leak find, get leak find. And I said, leak find? Okay, let's get leak find. Let's see what we can do with them. We got a 4,000 square meter factory. Where the hell are you going to find a leak? So Sunday morning we come out, we got these guys with this nitrogen gas pumping into the pipes while the sonars walking around. I think I'm again aliens, but okay. And then lo and behold, we found the leak. We found the leak, and it was literally at the back of the factory where the 18-wheelers come in with the carcasses of meat. So where 18-wheelers come in, the ground depressed, it damaged the piping, and the pipe burst. But it wasn't to the effect where we didn't lose water coming to the factory, but it burst. So we were losing the water. And the other thing we also picked up was, because of the meters, we were picking up that we were using water on Sundays, but we only work from Monday to Saturday. So we were stealing water, you know? And that's where we found that. But look, all is nice and easy talking about it now, but when you don't know the answer, and every day is like a bad day because you don't know the answer. But fortunately, we found it. How do I get to this thing now where I can show you the leak? Must I press on the thing? Okay. No, man, it went back now. How do we go to the, if you click on it? Can't click on it.
No. Is it the video?
Yeah. Rather just go to the video. So just
Can you play it from...
From the USB we can play it.
Yeah.
If you go to the USB, can you go to the USB? Oh, you don't have it, do you have it? That's fine. Okay, it's fine. Just leave it back. I was going to show you now the actual leak, how it looked like, but it's fine. It's not a problem. So I heard Alfie and the lady, the people in the plenary saying, yeah, we can only promise them 3 to 5 year returns, blah, blah, blah. We got months. We got our returns in months. So the WMS is the system we use to track the water. We spent 8,000 Rand. The water leak, we spent 8,000 Rand for the guy to come out and be Star Wars or whatever. And daily showers, we spent, okay, the daily showers basically when, the deli is another, we also supply the deli for woolies. So your pastrami, your ostrich, your turkey, your wafer thins, all those fancy stuff, we also supply to woolies, and it's a deli facility. So we have a fresh meat facility that does your chops and your sausage. The deli facility does the other side. So what happens is now when you bring your chicken loaf out to cool down from a cooker, you need to put it under a shower. Now we used to have 4 showers, so we put it under 1 shower, but then all 4 showers are on. So we literally just put in place some mechanism of sensitivity where you put it under 1 shower and only 1 goes on. And we basically got a nice return of about over 1 million, within months, like I said. The biggest thing for me that was a big change was the fact that we went from 75 kiloliters per day to 37 kiloliters per day of utilizing water by stopping that leak. Okay, that was the biggest turnaround for us in the business. And also the City of Cape Town rebate, also knowing that there are avenues of vehicles available where you can get money back. We got about 350,000 Rand back because we met the 3 requirements: company under distress, we under the agro-processing scheme, and Green Cape is a strategic partner and could prove that we had a 40% water saving. And the data that was collated was always NCPC. Great thanks to Spencer Oldman, who is the specialist from the NCPC. That helped us in collating the information, understanding what was required, because I didn't know how to get there. And that was the hindsight given by NCPC. And you guys must understand also that, take for example the Woolworths license. The Woolworths license is a hydrological report before you get an approval for a license. The Woolworths license is the license to do your RO plant. Do you know how much it costs? The cheapest is under 35,000 Rand. Through Green Academy in PCC, I went to UWC, I got it for 25,000, and I got my license. I went to a professor, I said to the professor, listen here, you guys can come into case studies, you can bring your students out here, check the water, blah, blah, blah. Let's do it for 25K, and it was accepted. Industry wants to do the right thing, but they are so scared for the fly-by-nights. Because when the water went crazy last year, there were so many fly-by-nights. I went to a lot of conferences, and that's how I met CSR at one of the conferences. NCPC also. So it's not about industry doesn't invest in it. They are just very hesitant because you got so many fly-by-night soothsayers that comes with these stories, want a lot of money, and at the end of the day you get nothing. But it's the amount of effort you need to put in, and it's the worthwhileness of people like Kevin, them that come along, Spence Oldman, Andre Page, that gives us the right platform to the understanding and the knowledge and the data required to make this work. Otherwise we wouldn't be where we are today. Partners that we have with Water Sanitation, Green Cape. So with just touching water, I know this is about water, but because we are looking at 3 factors, water, waste, and electricity, you can clearly see there, I showed you the tonnage of waste in cod. So our tonnage is basically what we produce for a 6-month period. Okay? So there is 374,000 kilograms and 480,000 kilograms. Now that is a tonnage in Delhi that we do. You can see the name on top. We only have cardboard and compactable waste as types there. We've reduced our waste from 27 to 22%. Okay? Same with water. We've gone from 52 kilograms per kiloliter to 55. And then for electricity, we went from 357 kilograms per kVA to 407. So clearly we're using the same unit and increasing more kilograms. So NCPC made us look at things differently in terms of how do you properly assess if you're being efficient or not. And you have the tracking tools, the power monitoring tools. So remember I told you excellent meat, only retail packer for Woolies. Now this is the fresh meat. The previous one, Delhi, like I said, was your pastrami, your ostrich, your wafer thin, blah, blah, blah. That's the one factory. This is the other one, the chopped sausage, etc. They went from 3 to 2.5% reduction in our waste. Our water went from 358 kilos per kiloliter, kilograms per kiloliter, to 739 kilograms per kiloliter. And then same with the electric power store, we went from 2.7 to 3.18 per kVA. So there's massive increases, and it's opened our mind up to looking at different platforms and paradigms to actually measure us properly. And the GBJ from Woolies isn't just about tracking tools. They say, did you do an assessment? Which is where NCPC came in. They did the RECP assessment. Okay, good. What are you doing about it? Tracking tools, okay. What are you tracking? What's your vision? Where do you get to? And we always had an objective. We have a green strategy document where we said in certain areas you want to have a certain reduction. One of the areas was water. We wanted 20% reduction. Fortunately, we had a 50% reduction. So these things are very relative to us in terms of monitoring the segment. And I'm excited because, like I said, I did biology still in matric. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the boring stuff. This is Excellent Meat, basically. We're Excellent Holdings. We're a billion-rand company. Excellent Locations is our property company. MC is our corporation, our logistics. We transport carcasses, lamb and beef to Pick n Pay, Shoprite Checkers, Spar, Hyperama. EMI, Excellent Meat International. This one here, it's our international arm. Import merino sheep from Australia. We have chicken that Woolies also uses from South America. And for those that love salmon, there's a cheap alternative to Norwegian. There's Chilean salmon from South America. It's alternative. And then we've got EMM, which is our markets, our butcheries, 4 of it. And then that's Packers. Packers is the pretty girl. She's the Woolies. So there's your fresh meat, chopped sausage, etc. Deli, the ostrich, blah, blah, blah. Butcher shops is Woolies. If some of you go to some of the stores also here, your Woolies stores, there's a butcher shop in every store with a man and working behind a butcher shop. That's us also. So we supply that also at butchery. So this is a very sensitive space to be in, so we need to make sure that we know how to utilize water and we respect water. Just a brief Excellent Meat Locations. I got that wrong. It's Excellent Meat International. We export to Mauritius, Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Vietnam, Gabon. We import from Brazil, Uruguay, United States, Germany, Canada. And we have 2 airlines on our books, Ethiopian Airlines and Serve Air. Excellent Meat Corporation. Excellent Meat Corporation, majority supplier to 90% of the butcheries in the Western Cape. Spar, Pick n Pay, Barama, Shoprite Checkers, Giant, Hyper and OK. EMP, Fresh Meat Deli. Main supplier to Woolworths, Western Cape, Eastern Cape and Namibia. There's a few of Deli's clients. And our franchise, EMM, Excellent Meat Markets. These are our customers, our clients. And there you can see the bad one, black and white, Woolworths. And we supply, so yeah, we've got the military also. They like their burgers and their chops and their sausage. Rockamama's, Checkers, Kauai, Burger King, yeah. Thank you very much.